Boris Johnson has finally decided to become conservative once again by reducing the size of government, draining the swamp of the establishment, and axing 90,000 jobs inside the civil service. And in other news, I've started to get blocked on Twitter by angry civil servants. Hello everybody, welcome to tonight's final show and the main headline. The main story of the day. I'm absolutely confused and surprised and proud. Boris is becoming conservative? Not really sure, but seems to be. Planning a new tax cuts after that disastrous budget recently. Is trying their best to sort out the illegal migration and stuff. We'll still wait to see how Rwanda goes. But the main point is shutting down this blockage, which is the civil service. Before we get to what happened to me today on Twitter, not in the real world, let's go to the Prime Minister and see what he's been saying. Because if he's just gimmick, then it would have been completely different. But the plans are now in place. The jobs are going. Since 2016, we increased the size of government, thanks to Theresa May. And now it's time to go back to the pre-2016 days. Boris Johnson says, we have got to cut the cost of government to reduce the cost of living. See, this is the old kind of Boris that we remember. Good soundbite, very simple, very direct. That's how he got elected. And then over the last couple of years, I don't know what's been going on, but of course being influenced by there are certain other groups and people with vested interests that didn't really help. But now he feels the fear of losing his leadership, losing his office. So it's time to become conservative. I absolutely agree with this statement. He also said that every pound the government preempts from the taxpayer is money that they can spend on their own priorities, on their own lives. Yes, it's been probably a few decades since a prime minister actually said this, but it's a start. And I've always tried to be objective, try my best, because regardless of personalities and characters, I don't really care. I'm not one of those again to kind of follow figures or dislike figures, saying, well, you should by default just love Boris or hate Boris. I don't care about any of that. If he does something right, I praise. If he does something stupid, I will destroy. Now, this is good. I like it. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And if the whole 90,000 jobs being axed is one of the best things. A lot of people are kicked off because they think these are real jobs. They're not real jobs. They're government jobs. They're not even frontline public services. These are civil servants. Now, I said this and people kicked up. So Maddie Walton is a civil servant. Civil servants are supposed to be faceless, with no opinions. That's their job. Just follow the policy. She replied to the news that came out earlier. She said, fantastic news, sarcastically. Don't cut off the hand that feeds you, mate. Don't cut off the hands that feed you. Civil servant thinks that it's the civil service that feeds the Prime Minister and the elected representatives that we have. That's what happened. Yep. She blocked me. Do you know why? Simply because I said this. So Maddie is a civil servant, and this is her response to the one good policy coming out of government. The level of arrogance and entitlement is astonishing. This is the main point. Civil servants take our money and then they make our lives harder. And then they insult us as well as our elected representatives. We can criticize our elected representatives because we voted for them. We are the bosses. We're Boris's boss. We're also Maddie's boss. Sometimes people like Maddie forget that point. You're not in charge of my life. You are a servant. But that's the arrogance and entitlement of the civil service. So for now, I'm going to be backing Boris, but not in terms of a tribal thing. I don't really care about that. If you keep going, I'll be fine. You need to make it a couple of other changes too. Sort out the border issue, sort out Brexit, and we'll see how it goes. And stop hanging out with the WF guys. Doesn't really help the image. So subscribe to the channel. Thanks again, guys, for watching. Thanks for all the supporters, especially those who've been sending us PayPal donations. The link is in the description. Am I, Tousi, and we are the media.